Hey, what's going on there, everybody? This is Sammy Leggett here, representing Team JVS, here to give you guys another series review, and I have company this time around. We are here to talk about Amazon Prime's Fallout, based on the amazing, expansive video game series. First on deck, I have Ronin Unchained. What's up, dude?
Hey man, 2 episodes in, and I think another big video game adaptation has some company on its way. I think this was good. This was really effing good, bro.
Yeah, I think that Netflix ain't the only one. So, got up here as well, Busy Brown. What's up, Busy?
As a new fan, you don't need to know anything. Like you can go into this and be fine, and that's what I did, and I had an absolute blast, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and unpack it. So, you guys, this is a non-spoiler review, so we're gonna keep this as tight-lipped as we can. Busy is able to actually go and check it out in the theaters. We were able to go and check it out in the comfort of our own homes. So it's different experiences. We're gonna go and expand on it a little bit later on with maybe a spoiler discussion a little bit later on. But just off rip, as far as the basis of it, it is a story based on a post-apocalyptic America. So it spans from certain sections of time, and then it goes from maybe like 213 years later or previous, and they do a very interesting job with it. It's got an amazing cast, and Ella Purnell, Walter Goggins, Aaron Clifton Moulton. Heck, they've even got Michael Easton in this, Zach Cherry, and it's a huge cast. But I think the thing about it that I guess I want to talk about from you guys' perception is the scope. This looks amazing. Like from the depth of field of the different locations that you're at, different cities that you can like, oh, I know where this is in LA, you can immediately identify what it is, but it doesn't look cheaply done. But then they use practical sets while also using maybe practical suits and attire. So can you guys talk a little bit about like the presentation of how Amazon I guess made this video game come to life.
So usually when it comes to Amazon, they're great. Like when it comes to like showing how big a world is and how like crazy they get with sets. I mean, Amazon usually doesn't let me down for an example. I mean, that's just me. But I mean, with this show, obviously the world beyond the vault is massive. So to be able to explore that is insane. But they did such a good job exploring. And again, I'm not giving spoilers, but the vault itself, it made me want to see the entirety of that location because of
Yeah,
how well they did with the practical sets or just the way that they kind of handled some of the scenes with it. I mean, it just made me want to see more. It made me want to explore more. They did such a good job with that, and when you see the outside, for an example, they do such a good job with the character, not the character, but the world building. Excuse me, and they, oh my god, they're nailing it so far.
yeah. To me, what was the mind bending part of it of just how the cinematography and the production design. I was the whole time I was like, wait, they built all of this. This doesn't feel CG. I can't sense the volume in an awkward way. And if so, if they did use the volume, then they used it right, the way Mando seasons 1 and 2 did, and how the Batman used it, in my opinion. Um, it is drop dead gorgeous, man. It is even the costume, the retro 50s vibe to it. It just mwah, nothing feels cheap. Even the mech suits, I'm like, they built that. That doesn't look fake as hell. That I'm like, how much did that cost, and how much did somebody get to keep it? Like, oh, it was so glorious. And again, as someone who didn't play the game, but this is right out my alley of the 50s design, the soundtracks, everything, and yet the dark humor and just I feel that if you're a fan of this series, you're gonna be mesmerized visually, and then once you get into the nitty gritty of the story, all cards are loose, all hands are decked. Like it's madness. But yeah, kudos to the cinematography and the production design. I felt everything, even just the walls, even the walls, corridors. I was just like, where did they go, or how much did that cost just to lit that hallway? You me, bro?
That's a really good segue because one of the reasons why this also worked is the actors sell it. I
Yeah.
mean, they truly, even if it feels like out of source, like what era is this? I don't know when this is supposed to be taking place. Oh, this is supposed to be this. Like, what kind of science fiction things are going on? You got robots when this is supposed to be taking place in the 50s. Like, it can be really off putting, but the actors fully commit and allow themselves to kind of immerse you in. And I want to go and talk and give credit where credit's due is Ella. Ella as Lucy does an
Bro.
amazing job of allowing this seemingly innocent but yet changed cultural
Mhm.
um character that ultimately doesn't understand the way the world works but is very capable of taking care of herself, but
Yeah.
has this devotion to people, this trust in people, and this love in her heart. And it's very fascinating because if you're playing a video game, she'd be the main character, but they don't make it as though like she's the only pivot. There are other characters that are also fundamentally important, like characters like Maximus, another character that's considered the ghoul, played by Walter Goggins. I mean, these characters all fully commit and make you start to gauge what kind of people they are. But one of the things that I love about this is that none of them, including Lucy, are good people. Like all of them have faults, but at the same exact time, you understand why they are the way they are and the place that they are in a world like this. I mean, based on the world around them, they're kind of like innocents in a
Yeah.
way, but they're not good people. And I want you guys to kind of talk towards some of the performances and some of the characters. What was one of your favorite characters without expounding on too much? Because I know it's a non-spoiler review.
I first of all, Ella Purnell. I mean, I've been to me because I had seen Army of the Dead, and I know she's renowned for also for Yellow Jacket, which I haven't checked out yet, which I should. But to me, it was Arcane. What she did with James,
Yes.
that to me, what she did with that with Haley Steinfeld as a sibling and the cast and that story was so effing good that I'm like, just let's just see what she does with Fallout. And again, when a non spoiler, when you folks meet her character, one might even say naivety, and I understand that, and I to an extent I agree with that. To me, what was heartbreaking seeing the first two episodes was just like, wow, she's so full of life and goodness, in my opinion, and yet you know that there's something in her capable to do to flip and join the rest of the world where you see the world and it's just like shit hit the fan and some people have not yet experienced that yet and you're like you're almost, for me at least, I was worried. I'm like, wow, how much of her innocence, how much of her goodness is going to fade away quickly or slowly. And I gotta give props to the show as well. They got Kyle McLaughlin, man. They got the OG Lisa Navgai, man. OG Paul Atreides as their
Yeah.
father, and I was just like giddy up because to me, because I knew heard about the Dune stuff, but I remember people just talking and raving about Twin Peaks. So it's cool that he was up to join Jonathan Nolan and the crew to adapt this gritty, human, and dark humor as fuck story. I'll tell you this, folks. If the opening scene and the immediate scene that follows it doesn't hook you, I don't know what else can. It is badass and yet like appalling and stark at the same time.
Busy.
And the thing is, I think it's so impressive. Like, I really want this show to do well, solely for the actress that plays Lucy, because to be a part of two franchises like that kind of adapted a game so well. Because Arcane, like League of Legends, yes, I'm gonna out myself. I love League of Legends, okay, but to see Arcane be brought to life, I absolutely loved it. And it did so well, which was amazing. So I'm hoping that for her to be a part of both of these is, I don't know. I think it's impressive, but I do want to say, I mean, the vibe that I was getting from this, when it comes down to serious moments, they knocked it out of the park. But at the same time, there were some comedic moments that didn't feel forced. Um, no, that's the thing. It felt like they were setting up jokes at times. Like it felt like there was things that didn't need to be there, but they handled it so correctly. It was funny, and there was vibes where I was like, okay, is this actually a dramedy more than just like a hardcore drama because of how kind of weird or funny the jokes were? And that's the thing, because they like usually you'll have a tone where they'll drop jokes, and okay, maybe it's a little bit of a lighthearted show, but like they just switch tones so fast and they do it so impressively, and that's one thing that I really like, because we go one moment talking about I don't want to say the word, but some crazy family jokes, and then all of a sudden we dive into some crazy action sequences, and with like decapitations and blood everywhere. So it's like they do a really cool job, like kind of transitioning tones, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess that's the last step of this, kind of talking about the story. I mean, the thing about this is that, I mean, Fallout as a series, like it is open world, and there's so many different expansive points. I mean, I think the last one that came out was 76, but the last one I remember playing was actually Fallout 3. And some of these, games are legendary. But the thing about it, you do not have to have played the game at all
Not
to
at
get
all.
this. And I think the good thing about it is that you still understand like there is a focal point. We are going somewhere. But at the same time, it's almost endless possibilities where we're gonna go. And the other thing about this is that tone is a very interesting thing in this, because one moment you might have the most lighthearted thing happening and very loving progressive character development, and then all of a sudden it's just going to hell and back, and it's the most brutal violent thing that you can see, and it just on the stop of a dime. That's one of the benefits of being on something like Amazon Prime, that anything goes, and you're going to get that in this show in spades without saying too much. But as far as the story is concerned, again, like I've pinpointed three different characters in Lucy and Maximus and the Ghoul, but I mean the story goes and expands outside of them as well. You get introduced to certain characters that allow the character progression to go forward, but more than anything, the actual narrative. And I feel like this is a really good start to something crazy, and I cannot wait for you guys to go and check it out. Guys, do you have any final thoughts on the story or final thoughts on this?
Yeah. So before we go, I do want to say, I mean, you were catching this as well, but it's so impressive compared to some other games that become shows. Um, the way they handle certain things, it felt like we were interacting with a side quest at times. It felt like we were interacting with different missions. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it really, but there were
Yeah.
Yeah.
scenes that really felt like it was a video game, but without making it too laughable. Like it felt so seamless, because it's like
Mhm.
you're only gonna really notice it if you're a hardcore gamer. But at the same time, like it was just one of those fun things that they didn't need to do. Like, hey, if you do this, I'll give you this. I like that. I really do. So all around, I truly appreciate what they've done so far, and I'm really hoping we can finish off so strong.
Yeah.
To connect it with Bizzy just said, I want to say this without non-spoiler. There is a reference to an act that occurred in our journey through the story in episode 2. So something happened, and all of us, if you ever do see our reactions, whoever uploads it, we're all like, "Wait, what? What just happened?" And we were in disbelief. We were like, I think some of us heard it, what actually occurred, and we were like, "Did that just happen?" We're on our way to this journey, in this big quest in this, post-apocalyptic world, and like you said, side quest or just a bumping into an NPC, which would be in the game, and like, oh, that just happened, or that you missed what just happened, and it's just like, what the hell? And it is funny as fuck, and it is fucked up as fuck, and it's so juicy when you laugh at something that's hysterical, and you're like, wow, I shouldn't have laughed at that, but I'm like, but I can't stop watching. I want to keep watching and see where else it goes. And yeah, man, look out for the fellow playing Maximus, with where he's going in his trajectory, and also Walton Goggins as the goal. Um, I want to tell y'all folks so much stuff, and then just like again, the tip of the iceberg. And I'm really confident that this is gonna give it's gonna be another big plant statement of like video game adaptations. Be like, we're bringing everybody, keep up.
Yeah. Another one. We got another one, guys.
Yep.
So final ratings, guys. I'll go first. This for me is a flat A, man. I really don't have any negatives because when I thought it was going to be a negative, I was like, are you guys going this route? Like, and they're like, no. I'm going to lean in and let you just fall. And then I'm going to pick you back up to show you something different. I might make you laugh or cry in a second. And anytime you got a show that can make you feel that way, because when you're playing a game, you're going through a lot of range of emotions. So it's hard to translate that to a show or a film. And again, we got another really good adaptation on this one. So this one for me is an A all day. So between A and F, what you guys rate it?
A-.
Okay.
Bet.
I'm gonna go A as well. I think that the juxtaposition between the tones and what was presented to us in the first two episodes, it was just unique and just telling you so much, and yet still keeping you up with it. Nothing felt too slowed down. Nothing felt rushed. It was like, this is the basic stuff you need to know. Let's go onwards. And yeah, man, I'm very interested to see if hardcore fans, if they find any Easter eggs or there's stuff out there. Yeah, man, and also kudos to the music department, the soundtrack, y'all. It's gonna be excuse my language, it's gonna be a bitch and a half to edit the reaction just with copyrights, but it is so damn good, man. It is so I would even bet to be sure that some soundtracks are pulled from the game. And some soundtracks just fit perfectly for that era and the tone of what those songs are saying. So keep a lookout or keep an ear out for those soundtracks.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And yeah, guys. So that is our official series review of Fallout. Again, we're gonna probably try to do a spoiler discussion on it because it's so much that we gotta go and embark with this.
Yeah.
We won't let you down this time. We'll try to do this spoiler review. I got a lot going on next week, but we'll definitely get to it as soon as we can. But give these guys some time to plug. Bizzy, where can everybody find your content?
Bizzy Braun everywhere. You can find me on TeamJVS doing reviews, which I'm loving. And then, of course, on Ronin's channel, we've been doing some reactions over there that won't see the light of day on my channel. So go check that out. And Bizzy Reactions on Instagram.
And congratulations to Bizzy for hitting 1 million on TikTok. One of his impossible videos.
1 million. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Bravo.
Where can everybody find your content, man?
You can find me at Ronin and Jane on YouTube, on Twitter, socials. The guys finally got me doing TikTok. I don't know how I'm gonna handle that, but it's there. It's in the ether. And like Bizzy alluded to, there's a lot of collaborations with TeamJVS and Bizzy coming in the future. And yeah, look out for this show, X-Men, Bad Batch, Shogun. And know this, folks, there's a lot of iron in the fire. We're planting a lot of stuff, not even just for the coming months, for the coming 13 months. I'll say that.
Ooh, I don't know what Ronin is talking about. But anywho, we're going to go and follow Ronin officially on TikTok. Go give him some follows, guys. We're going to go. We'll be back for a lot more discussion and reviews and maybe some anime. We'll see. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, people.
Falling out the top of I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh Lord.